Advice I do not agree with on YouTube. Today we've got 11 items that, they may fit some folks, but they don't fit me in my retirement and maybe not you. So maybe these are going to be challenges to your current thinking. And that's good. You decide what you want to do for yourself. Before I get started, only 30% of the viewers of this channel are subscribers. Please take a moment. If this is at least your second video, this is free for if it's your first video, but if it's your second, hit subscribe. It helps the channel out, helps it spread out to more people. You know the YouTube algorithm story. More people that watch these videos give better comments, longer comments. And if you're not reading the comments of videos, you're missing a lot of gold. So as you're listening to this, go read some of the comments. You'll get people that completely disagree, and that's fine. That's fine. Everybody's trying to tackle this, and there's not a one size fits all with personal finance. So let's jump in. Number one, the 4% rule. How much do you hear about the 4% rule? Say you got $1 million, that means you could safely pull out $40,000 a year adjusted for inflation. You hear that all the time. But here's the secret. Nobody spends that way. 0 people pull out 4% every year. There's 0. There's unplanned expenses that come up. You've got, you've got planned expenses, one-time expenses that come up. I've got 2 weddings this year. What if I needed to buy a car next year? What if I need to put a new roof on the house the year after that? Also, people spend different in their go-go years. Say the first 10 years of retirement, you want to spend a little extra on fun things. Maybe it's more golf. Maybe it's more travel. And then you want to taper that down, for the years 10 through 20 of your retirement, and maybe go to 0 for years 20 to 30 of your retirement. You can't make that plan by simply using the 4% rule. There's comprehensive software available, folks, that makes this super easy. I use Boldin. It's the first link below. Check it out. But it's so simple. I demoed this, and it took me 8 minutes to input my information and get the first printout of the result, the Monte Carlo score. So the 4% rule, I'm not saying it's horrible, but if it's your entire plan, that's pretty bad. Okay? Do better. Number 2, always take Social Security at age 70. Advice that's out there. It's always better. It's adjusted for inflation. It increases 5 to 8% a year. I think 5% for the first few years, and then 6 and 7. And after age 67 or full retirement age, it grows at 8 a year. That's a great return. Great. And it's there. Whatever your investments do, you've got this backstop. And also pushing it to 70 helps if you have an early death of a spouse. So you have one spouse that's going to lose their Social Security, or lose one of the Social Securities you may have if you're married. You will lose one of them, and you may lose all or part of a pension. So Social Security can serve as a great backstop. But what if you're single? Okay. You don't have that concern. And what if you have longevity risk, like your parents and your grandparents, they died in their early 60s. So you may want to get that earlier. Also, you may have a unplanned retirement. You retire 3 years earlier than you thought. You need to start drawing at 62 to meet your expenses. Okay, that makes sense. There's great reasons to take your Social Security early. Great reasons to take it late. It all depends on your situation. Again, comprehensive software will model this for you and recommend a solution. I use Boldin. Number 3, never pay off your mortgage. Always invest to make money on the spread. I've got friends that do this, and I cringe. And I know I could make a little money if, say I had a 3% mortgage and I can put my money in a CD making 5%. You can make that 2%. It's free money, easy money, no risk. Well, no risk until the bonds market goes through the floor like it did in 2022. What if you have a 50% stock market crash and you had disinvested in the stock market. It works until it doesn't. And the feeling of having no debt is great. Okay, it really is great. Also, there's a behavioral aspect of this. If you had a $300,000 mortgage, for example, and you had $300,000 in a CD, those two together make zero. Okay, but it looks like you got $300,000 in a CD. Maybe I'll buy a new car. Maybe I'll go on this expensive vacation because I got the money. I just think bad things happen there. That's not how I was raised. Okay, you do you. Number 4, you can live off dividends. Dividend investing. I'm going to put everything I got into dividends. I'm going to make 4%, 5%, 6% payout. I've invested in these dividend aristocrats. Well, what it does that people don't talk about is it concentrates your portfolio. The 4% rule, 4.7% rule now, I believe, with a diverse portfolio of international and emerging markets, those kind of things. When you buy dividend stocks only, or in a very high concentration, it actually increases your risk because you're buying large, well-established organizations. You don't have any growth in there. You may not have any international, no emerging markets, no small caps, no mid caps inside of there. Okay, so you're highly concentrated. It works until it doesn't. Okay, I look at total return. I'm looking at total return, and I try to be well diversified. I got some dividend paying, stocks inside of my portfolio, but I'm not highly concentrated at all. That's the big hazard in there. It feels like you're getting a paycheck and it's steady until it's not. Okay. Number 5, buy an annuity and sleep like a baby. Good gosh. I am getting inundated with YouTube shorts, Facebook, advertisements for annuity. Don't risk things in the stock market. You can't manage your money. Just turn your investments, your $1 million, into just a monthly paycheck, just like you were used to. You'll spend more money and sleep at night like a baby. Well, there's a reason why these things are being sold. One, they do take risk off the table. If you're risk averse, hey, it may be the greatest thing you ever did. That's okay. Not what I'm doing. I'm comfortable managing my money. I'm comfortable manage the stock market feature of bear markets and recessions and bull markets, recovery. I'm comfortable with that, managing that through my buckets. But these things are sold. There's high fees associated with them. Also, a big negative feature is inflation. If you have an annuity that pays you, just say $3,000 a month, that'd be a good annuity, but it's going to be paying, if it's a SPIA, and most of them that I understand do not have a inflation rider on it, or if they do, it's kind of fixed at 2%. But if you're getting $3,000 a month now, in 20 years you're getting $3,000 a month, and winning the inflation game is very important, very, very important inside of retirement. So I don't like annuities for me, but they're not for everybody. They may be for you. Maybe a portion of your retirement you want to make in a some more guaranteed income. It's like buying a pension, but it's expensive, not adjusted for inflation. The inflation piece is what most people miss. Number 6, set it and forget it. Target date funds. They're easy. They give, you put in your retirement year and it automatically adjusts your stock to fixed, ratio. I don't like that. I don't like it at all. In particular, when the stock markets is down, say the equities are down 30%, I don't want to pull out of one fund. I want to just focus in on my fixed assets. Say the bond portion, I want to sell some of those maybe to live on. Okay. I like having the control. Now, when you pull out of these target date funds, if you pull out of a 60-40 fund, you're going to pull out of that, and then it's going to rebalance, to that 60-40 again. But maybe it's that I'm an engineer. I like knowing where I'm pulling money. I like to pull it when the market's down from the fixed assets. When the market's up, I pull it from the growth assets and maintain my buffer. I call them buckets. I use the bucket strategy. Most of you know that. I like pulling out of my bucket one, my fixed assets, when the market is down, pull out of my bucket two, growth assets when the market is up, and kind of maintain an 80-20 mix overall 80-20. Okay, so target date funds, not a fan of. I don't think they're bad, but I don't use them at all, and I don't think they're for everybody. Here's the worst advice, I think. Yeah. Too many videos out there, like they'll say you need 500,000 to retire, you need $1 million to retire, you need 2 million, you need 5 million, fill in the blank. That means nothing. The amount of your net worth means nothing regarding when you can retire. It's all about your spending, your expenses. Your expenses mean everything. 5 million may not be enough. 500,000 may be too much. It's all about your expenses, okay? Drive to understand your expenses, and then you can back calculate what your nest egg needs to be, based on your risk profile too. How much equity you need, and how much fixed you need, and how much tax you still need to pay on that, which is an expense, right? Number 8, max out your Roth conversions every year. It's a no-brainer. Roth conversions. I need to be doing Roth conversions, right? Not necessarily. Don't do Roth conversions because you heard it's a popular thing to do or everybody else is doing it. You need to have a tool. There are tools out there that tell you exactly what your Roth conversions need to be based on your assumptions on, you input your assets. Here's how much they're going to grow. Here's what inflation's going to be. Here's what our expenses are going to be in our go-go years, our slow-go years, our one-time expenses. And then you go in, like in Boldin, you hit Roth Explorer, and it tells you exactly what you should take to minimize your taxes 10, 20, 30 years down the road. Super easy to do. Don't make Roth conversions because it's the right thing to do. Make them because you know it makes sense in your case with all your inputs. Timing of Social Security also factors into that. If you take Social Security earlier, that's going to bump up your income, right? So Roth conversions may throw you into too high of a tax bracket. So I know this sounds complicated, but it's really not with comprehensive software. Number 9, the bucket strategy guarantees safety. No, there's no guarantee of safety anywhere. I do have 10 years of expenses in my bucket one that protects me from a significant downturn that lasts a long time. Okay, and that 10 years is not all my expenses. That's net of any income I have coming in. So if I need $5,000 a month and I've got $1,000 a month coming in a pension, I only need $4,000 for my assets. So that's what I'm talking about is in my bucket one. Nothing guarantees safety, but I get tremendous peace of mind knowing that when the market went down, for me, it went down like 30% in 2022. I didn't stress at all. I didn't do anything different in 2022 because the first thing I did, and this is the first thing everybody in retirement does, even if you don't use a bucket strategy, the first thing you do, the market's down 30%, you say, how much dry powder do I have? How much do I have before I have a problem? And the bucket strategy is just up front. Hey, Joe, you got 10 years. I go, okay, I got 10 years. I'll start stressing this on year 8. Well, then 2023, get a big recovery. 2024, everything's fine. Okay. I didn't change anything about my lifestyle and didn't have one moment of stress with that downturn. Seriously, not one moment. Now, if I would have been 1 year into retirement, probably would have. But, 2022 was year 3 of my retirement. And I already had some good returns in 19, 20, and 21. Okay, number 10. I hear about this a lot. It's not something that I'm interested at all in, but hey, what you need is passive income through Airbnb and maybe some rental property. It sounds great. Sounds great. You Airbnb out a room in your house, or you buy 3 or 4 houses and get passive income. Okay. What about vacancies? What about repairs? What about calls in the middle of the night? My water heater's not working. My furnace broke. My roof leaks. Time that you need to apply to these passive income. No, there may be months where it is passive income, but I assure you, the people that I know that have real estate, it's a job, and I don't want those in my retirement. Don't want them at all. Okay. Number 11. And this is not specific advice that I hear about on YouTube, but it's the tone. It's the tone of 95% of the people that are out there talking about retirement. They're financial advisors, and they're great people. I learn a lot from them. But most of them have a tone of, this is complicated. You can't really do it by yourself. There's too many factors. You just don't understand. One, it is complicated, okay? But it takes work, and the information is readily available. There's no reason you can't get all the information you need from YouTube on how to manage your own retirement. There's no reason you can't do that. But I'm telling you, it's going to take time. It may be, 5, 6, 8 hours a month, okay? But it's time you need to invest to understand the rules, okay? But you can do it. It's not, there's a lot of factors, but it's not too complex, okay? There's also comprehensive software out there that does it all for you, okay? I mentioned that so many times today. And yes, you can also have access to a certified financial planner if you got a question. I found somebody called Money Pickle. They're a company that links you up with one of, I think they got like 12 to 15 certified financial planners that have been vetted by this company, Money Pickle. And you can ask them any question you want. What should I put in for inflation? When should I take Social Security? Here's all my numbers. Okay, I think I got a great plan and I'm ready to retire next year. What problems do you see? Okay, contact the folks at Money Pickle. It's a free call. Second link. They won't hassle you the entire 45 minutes trying to sell you something. They're committed to the first 40 minutes. They're going to answer your question. When you hit the link, you're going to say, what do you want to talk about? They will talk about that. At the end of the call, based on how the conversation goes, they will say, hey, what do you think our next steps ought to be? And maybe it's, I think I got this, and you never talk to them again. Or maybe it's like, man, I didn't think about Roth conversions. This is a little more complicated than I'm prepared for. I'd like to schedule a different call with you and perhaps go down a relationship road with that certified financial planner. Maybe, okay? But ask your question. It's free. If you think you got a good plan, run it by somebody, okay? I'm telling you, I can't imagine them not having 2, 3, 4 pieces of advice that you did not know, okay? That's the feedback that I'm getting from hundreds of clients, okay? So you can also pay somebody to review your plan. So if you have a Boldin plan, you send the PDF printout to either Donaldson Capital Management. There are a link below. There's only 2 people that I know that do this, okay? Donaldson Capital Management and Defining Wealth are 2 companies that I've worked with, I found, and they have a $300 plan review. You upload your plan, whether it's in Boldin, in Excel, or on a napkin. You upload your plan to them. They'll look at it for about 45 minutes, study it, sit down with you and say, here's Here's some strengths. Here's some weaknesses. Here's some things I don't like about your plan. Here's what you can do about it. That's $300. Okay. I'm telling you, I got that feedback from you guys that you needed somebody to sit down and talk to your plan talk to them about your plan. Sorry. And I found these guys, and they're great. The feedback from them has been extraordinary. I get an email. I probably get 5 a week from people that have used this service and said, oh my gosh, I got 12 ideas. I got 8 ideas. I got 7. I got 4. The lowest somebody's ever told me that they've learned, the least number of things they've learned was 2. The highest was 12. Okay. Is that worth $300? You decide. I don't think I want to figure things out through making mistakes. I'd like to pay somebody $300 to tell me about a $20,000 mistake that I made in my retirement planning, right? Okay. So that number 11 is not specific advice, but a tone that you can't do this yourself, I think is wrong, because you can, but you must use some of these resources like comprehensive software, free call with a certified financial planner, or maybe a plan review for $300. You're still going it alone if you choose to go that route. For a lot of folks, and my statistics say 30% of you use a certified financial planner. Great, good for you. Okay, good for you. That's probably a great decision based on, the time that you're willing to commit to understanding these rules. So anyway, your action summary for today is, hey, if you think you got a good plan, run it by somebody. Run it by the folks at Money Pickle for free. Okay. Now that's a cold call where they're going to be talking about your issue. I'd suggest you call the folks at Money Pickle, get some advice from them for free, and then I would set up a call with either Defining Wealth or Donaldson Capital Management for $300 and tell them to find the $20,000 piece of gold in your plan that you missed, and you're going to pay $300 for that. That's a good deal. Okay, that's my suggestion for you. To also, if you're using the 4% rule, you may want to try out some comprehensive software. The Boldin Software gives you a free 2 weeks. Use my link, and I got links to Money Pickle, links to Defining Wealth, and Donaldson Capital Management below. I've seen so many people retire 1, 2, 3, 4 years and 7 months is the record early, because they followed this action plan that I just walked through. Make sense? Joe out.